Scream Factory has done a phenomenal job at gathering many latter Vincent Price movies onto magnificent collections. I have to applaud them for the quality and everything in these Blu-rays to make them all stand out, but not even they could save them from the awful cry of the Banshee from what year is this? 1970. It's like, okay, 15th century. Price is, Price is playing a magistrate who is condemning supposed witches. Tell me if this doesn't sound like Witchfinder General, except just a worse version. That's pretty much what this is. He's the head. He kind of doesn't make peasants' life hell, but at the same time, he can pretty much just make them confess. He has his sons. He has his retinue, with important council people around him to extract information, send them to the torture chamber, and just pretty much cause havoc, except in an by official decree. Then he hears the cry of the Banshee, which is an Irish mythology. Like, if you hear this creature like that, you will hear the you're going to, like, someone in your family is going to die in the next couple of days or two. This movie just, it looks promising that he's going to be haunted and the witches are going to gain some power. And it's like, okay, let's get the establishment, let's get the new order of religion going in the 1500s. This was before, I think, King Henry VIII founded made Catholicism the church or whatever. I don't know. And let's have the old Wiccan/pagan ways of, witches and everything else. And for once, which I will give this movie credit, they portray the older religious ways in a more sympathetic light, because of witches that are getting billed and everything else. So it's nice to at least get that. And maybe supposedly it looks nice. It's an old English town. It's filmed in Middlesex, England, where probably some of the other movies were filmed. But here, it's like, okay, we understand that Edward, whatever his last name is, I forgot, is a truly a diabolical, ruthless man. It's like, yes, we get that. Okay, show the scenes. Then let's see the witches extract some revenge. Oh, we're going to spend approximately, I don't know, 30 minutes just showing everything. We're going to show, an innocent witch being taken care of. We're going to show two teenagers that are humiliated and forced to perform, pretty much dancing and playing a whatever the Pied Piper plays. I forgot. Yeah, but get that. We've seen it before. Maybe I'm just a little tired from it. I don't know, but it takes 40 minutes in order for us to see the lead witch, Una, Oona, and it's just, they got the little, I don't know, witch effigy thing in order to start proclaiming their revenge against Edward. 40 minutes in, not even 20, not even 30, 40 to 45 blasted minutes in, and I'm like, no, this is bad. This is just inconsistent, bad. I mean, the costumes are nice. I mean, when they make Vincent Price wear, the robes and everything, it's like, yes, that does add more to his unique characters in just the right way. I don't know. It's just the fact that, it's like, yeah. Then we start getting some, billings and a family member that's being overtaken by the Maurice, I think his name is. That eventually becomes one of the, I guess, servants for the witch, and starts going around, becomes infected, and I guess I don't know. I I really I really 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 do not care about this movie. It's just not a good film. I'm sorry. I mean, even Vincent Price here, it just feels like a retreading of Mask of the Red Death in Witchfinder General, and that's not a good thing in this case. It's actually a bad thing. Because I did not pay to see. I wanted to at least see, like, the last Gothic, like, at least something Gothic horror related, you know? It's like, I don't know. I'm trying to remember some other standout scene. There's a lot of interesting trivia about this, which the trivia itself is more interesting than the final product. I guess the witch's coven is interesting enough. We get some nipples, we get some bloods, which I was very surprised to see for an American International picture. That was okay, I guess, which I was not expecting. But fortunately, none that can save this movie. I really wanted to like this, but out of all the three collections I've seen, this may be the worst. Well, second worst after the one I forgot, name I forgot. This may be actually probably one of the suckiest, one of the most boring, suckiest movies that I've ever seen. Oh my god, I can't believe I just said that. I genuinely think this movie is just a thumbs down. It just... Gordon Hessler was, I don't know. There's a lot of writing going on. There's a lot of back and forth disputes with AIP about how the film should be made, who should star in it, and the overall tone of everything going on. I'm like, okay. And of course, this was being the last Gothic horror movie that Price ever filmed, and you can tell it's like he's tired. He doesn't want to be in it. The crew, like the film's composition, is like, I'm finished, you know. And it just led to junk. And it's like, you know, different writers, different ways how this movie should be done. It took maybe a year or two. This was supposed to be like, you know, it's even advertised as a Edgar Allan Poe film, but unfortunately they went to the well one too many times, and outside of like maybe 10 lines in the very beginning of the movie, it just didn't do anything. There's no relation to it. It's trying to invent its own Poe style poem, short story, stanza, whatever, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work at all in the slightest. I kind of liked maybe a little bit of, okay, I also like maybe a little bit of the English history of the religious persecution in the Banshee. That was an interesting way to get it set in, I guess, but this just didn't do it. In fact, during the wrap-up party, there was this guy named Samuel Arkoff, who probably has a hand in just how lousy it was, not that Edward Small person. Anyway, at this point, Price was getting frustrated with his contract with AIP, and he would not want to appear to the wrap-up party, but it took some convincing for it to do, and he eventually did. But you know, it's like there's also this stripper and this lady was supposed to appear from a cake, but they couldn't find a knife, so Price, in a drunken mood, said, "Oh yeah, all you have to do is just take the knife out of my back and use it," referring to his frustrations with AIP and Samuel Arkoff. Which, yeah, I would probably do the same thing too. Eventually, he signed a new 2-year contract with AIP. I think it's even where like Theater of Blood, if I'm not mistaken, came out. So yeah, this movie is just a whimper. Outside of maybe like a couple of cool things, I can probably say this is definitely just one of the It's one of the most boring movies I've ever seen. Just boring. It's just bad. So yeah, could have been better. And ultimately, I don't know. Oh, before I give my final verdict on everything, I am going to read an evening with Edgar Allan Poe. It makes sense to me as hell. One horror icon, read a horror icon's works. But yeah, with this, I can definitely say this is probably the most expansive review or understanding of Vincent Price's career. If there are more, well, I'll just watch some more. But yeah, and I say just don't even waste your time with this one. You know what? Screw this movie. It sucks.